I know that Milam and Bryant had help when they murdered Emmett Till. Number one, they recruited a black boy, Leroy Too Tight Collins. He was seen on the truck restraining Emmett. That was the purpose of his being there. And I heard later that he told the two men that he was having difficulty restraining Emmett, and they stopped and picked up another guy.
At the time of Emmett Till's death, I was 13 years old. And me and my friends was walking down the streets, and we walked up and to the truck that Too Tight and Jimmy Lee was washing out. And I asked him what was the blood from, and he told me that it was from a deer they killed that night. But later on I found out that it was not a deer, it was Emmett Till's blood.
J.W. Milam told my father they went, picked Emmett Till up, and they was going to kind of like rough him up or beat him up a little bit and let him go. That was his story. But Roy and Kimball really beat him bad, and things just really got out of hand. That was his story, but we know better. And beat him up so bad till he asked Leroy Too Tight Collins and gave him the gun and told him to shoot him and get him out of his misery.
My name is Henry Long, and I was supposed to have been involved with Emmett Till murder, but I wasn't. And I still can't figure out why they would have me involved in that. And I know nothing about it, no more what was told. This woman named Mary, she came up, she said, y'all heard about what happened last night? I said, no. And they said, yeah. I said, you know, J.W. and them went over to Montes and killed a boy and put him in the river. It wasn't a river, Black Bow. So I said, no, we ain't heard nothing about that. And so she said, said Too Tight said, that shoe laying out, I said, that's a shoe that boy had on. So they went to this boy's grandparents and asked about him. Said, Dad said, his granddad said, he's in there asleep. Said, what you want with him? Said, well, wake him up. We're going to get him out of there and take him and put him in the river down there. So he said, no. Said, no, white folks don't do that. Now, that's what they say, he said now. Said, don't do that. So I'll, if you let him stay here in the morning, I'll put him on a bus and send him back to Chicago. So no, they said, no, we want him out of here now. And said, I don't want to lie, I think they said that one of them hit the old man, the boy's granddaddy. Said, no, you know, I reckon he didn't want him to kill him. And they got him out of there. So, well, they said that the boy was fighting him, but he couldn't whoop him all. That's what they said. Now, I'm putting that in the beginning that they said. Now, if I'd have been there looking at it, it'd have been a different story. So, but why, I still can't say it. Can't figure out why would they have me involved, and I know nothing about it.
I believe that if people are still alive and there's evidence to connect them in any way, shape, or form to the killing or to knowledge of the killing or the conspiracy of the killing, they should be prosecuted right now. I don't care how old they are. I don't care their medical condition. If they're alive and was part of it, they ought to be dealt with. There is no statute of limitation to murder. And people to say, well, it's years later, it doesn't matter. I think anyone that does this, if it's on their dying bed, they ought to die a convict and die condemned for participating in any way for what happened to Emmett Till.
There are some crimes that are known as higher than simply civil rights, human rights crimes. And the whole human community needs to look in and ensure that justice is done. The clock does not stop on this question of justice.
This is an injustice that continues as long as the murderers are at large and subject to being punished, but not being pursued.
If y'all could stop talking for 1 second.
Please be quiet.
Because I think that this family should get much more respect than what we gave them. This is history right before us, and I think Letitia James, the council member, did an excellent job to bring it before us. This is one time we need to give somebody a standing ovation. This family has been through a lot, and we should accord them that respect.
Emmett Till is emblematic of many such injustices that took place during that period and since. Down south and up south, Mississippi to New York, and to some extent what we're seeing still take place 50 years later. So it's very, very important that we not forget.
We need to bring this to the attention of the citizenry of the city of New York, and that all pressure be brought to bear to the Attorney General's office to get this case reopened.
All around America, they will follow this lead, and Ashcroft will hear that protest. This case will be reopened, and one day Emmett will rest in peace because justice will have then been done. Justice will have been served. Thank you.
He whistled at a white woman and ended up dead at the bottom of a river. The 1955 lynching of Emmett Till was a key turning point in the civil rights movement. Now, nearly 50 years later, the Justice Department is reopening this case. A film called The Untold Story of Emmett Lewis Till helped renew interest in this case.
Now we'll go live to Washington, D.C. The Justice Department holding a news conference. They plan to reopen a murder investigation of a murder that is almost 50 years old and helped inspire part of the civil rights fight. Let's listen in.
I'm pleased to announce a federal-state partnership to investigate the murder of Emmett Till. Federal prosecutors and FBI agents today are being assigned to investigate the Emmett Till murder in partnership with the District Attorney's Office and local law enforcement. Their findings will serve as the basis for any possible prosecution. Emmett Till unwittingly played a pivotal role in launching the modern civil rights movement. We owe it to Emmett Till, we owe it to his mother and to his family, and we owe it to ourselves to see if after all these years, any additional measure of justice is still possible. Thank you.
Emmett was the catalyst that started the civil rights movement. Because when people saw what had happened to this little 14-year-old boy, they knew then that not only were men, black men, in danger, but black children as well. And it took something to stir people up and let them know that we're either going to stand together or we're going to fall together. I do know that without the shedding of blood, there's no redemption. And I do know that the Lord appeared to me in a vision, and he told me that Emmett was not mine, that he belonged to him, and that God had chosen him for this particular mission.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.